How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a video on 10 cheap luxury cars that cost less than £30,000. And while 30 grand isn't objectively cheap, it's still pretty cheap when you think that the vast majority of new luxury cars cost minimum 70 grand, if not upwards of like 250 to 500 grand. But all 10 of these cars, which are ordered from least to most brake horsepower to reduce bias on my side, can be bought for less than 30 grand. They fit in the luxury category. They give you some nice, sweet comfort. As always, don't forget I'm in the UK, so prices in other countries may differ. And don't forget that whenever you buy any second-hand car, maintenance, repairs, insurance, road tax, all that stuff is important to remember. Before we begin, if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe as well if you're new, but without further ado, let's get into the video. Volvo are renowned for making comfortable, no-nonsense luxury cars with a focus on minimalism rather than flashiness, and the S90 fits that bill to the T. In D5 spec, it hosts a diesel 2-litre twin-turbocharged inline-4, putting out 231 brake horsepower, which takes from 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds. It comes in both short and long wheelbase layouts, as well as in estate form, and it sort of resembles a Polestar 1 in terms of its looks. Even though I often harass Volvo for their boring interiors, the S90 is actually pretty nice inside and provides a nice luxurious set of materials and additional amenities for occupants. It competes more on a level with equivalent German offerings is basically what I'm trying to get at. These start as low as £15,000 for high mileage low spec examples, and 30 grand will get you a pretty much brand new or delivery mileage example. On reliability, mechanically these are renowned for being solid, but on release in 2016 there were a few electrical teething issues and recalls that were generally covered under warranty. Considering you're spending 30 grand and getting a practically new model, I wouldn't be too worried. A slightly more premium brand coming in at number 9, it's Maserati with the 6th generation Quattroporte, powered by a diesel 3-litre turbocharged V6, putting out 271 brake horsepower, taking it from 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds. It has a longer wheelbase than the previous gen and shares its platform with the smaller and slightly less luxurious Ghibli. It was designed with guidance from an ex-Pininfarina designer and probably has the most spec options from factory of any car on this list, so it's worth spending the time looking for your perfect spec. The interior is much of a muchness in terms of features, but the colours, trims, materials and designs can differ significantly. These are listed for a minimum of around £18,000 and 30k will get you one from 2016 with around 20,000 miles on the clock. Surprisingly, these diesel V6s have seemed to stand the test of time so far as well, but owners have noted the build quality of these cars isn't what you'd expect of a 70k when new car, which has almost definitely contributed to why they are so much cheaper now. Next up is a staple luxury car, the Mercedes S350d with its 3-litre turbocharged inline-6, putting out 281 brake horsepower and does 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds. The original was released in 2013 with the facelift coming in 2017, which brought a few aesthetic changes, a new range of engines and some new tech, as is always the way with the S-classes. One cool piece of tech from this car is the magic body control, which scans the road ahead and prepares the car accordingly to give as comfortable a ride as possible. In terms of mixing modernness and luxury, this is probably the best you'll get on this list, with a huge 12.3-inch infotainment system, interior lighting and great luxury features like the perfumed climate control. I'm personally partial to the quilted leather mixed with the alley 3-spoke wheel. These are listed for a minimum of around £20,000 and 30 grand will now be your 2018 example with around 30,000 miles on it. There have been a few recalls on S-classes, particularly in the early years, but generally owners note that other than a few sketchy gearboxes, they're pretty reliable, mostly because these post-facelift examples have only been around for a few years. In 7th is the 6th generation BMW 740d, which has a turbocharged inline-6, which puts out 315 brake horsepower and will manage 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. It also comes in short and long wheelbase examples and is the first BMW on the new CLAR platform, which uses tech from the I models, like carbon fiber reinforced polymer. Like the S-Class, it uses a self-leveling air suspension system, as well as some cool interior tech like gesture control of the infotainment, but the key luxury feature in long wheelbase examples is the executive lounge, which is marketed as a place to rest your feet or get your shoes shined, but the internet thinks otherwise. Seriously though, the interior is a very nice place to be, highly executive but still luxurious. The lowest you'll find these listed for is around £25,000, and for 30 grand you're looking at a 2018 M Sport with under 40,000 miles on the clock. Owners have generally considered this to be a positive step for BMW in terms of luxury, but also in reliability, reliability, as reports of problems are few and far between. However, as with the S-Class, it's relatively new, so only time will tell. Next up is the Jaguar XJ, specifically in the R-Sport spec, which is a 3-litre supercharged V6 putting out 335 brake horsepower, taking it from 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. There were multiple facelifts to this gen, with the final one coming in 2015. In this guise, they're listed for a minimum of around £23,000, and for 30k you'll find a 2017 R-Sport with under 30,000 miles on it. The XJ is supposed to be a more sleeperish, refined luxury car, and despite the fact that it's absolutely massive, owners know it actually handles really well, even with the softer, more luxurious suspension. The interior is similar to other Jags, but with more textbook luxury features like the analog clock on the dashboard, huge center console, and heating or cooling seats. Having been in one a fair bit, I can confirm it is a lovely place to be. On all benchmarking, the XJ comes out on top of its class in terms of reliability, and many owners will happily back this up. However, some other owners have had electrical issues that are renowned to plague JLR cars, and this has put them off earlier on in their ownership. As you're getting a relatively new example for 30 grand, I wouldn't be too worried, but worth thinking about for the longer term. Hold on 2 seconds. If you're enjoying the video, make sure you hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. If we can get 1,000 likes, I'll do this at a super cheap, maybe like 5 grand or something. I'll do like £5,000 luxury cars if this gets 1,000 likes. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe as I post twice every week, and go follow me on Instagram at carswithjb where I post every day. On to sadly the only Japanese car on this list. It's the most recent generation of the Lexus GS450h F Sport, which hosts a 3.5 litre V6 hybrid engine, putting out a combined 340 brake horsepower, which takes from 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. This will probably be the final series of GS, as it has been replaced in most markets with the ES as of the end of 2020, which is a shame as it really does take the fight to its European equivalents with the sheer number of luxury features it has. One of these features is the S-Flow control, which provides climate control specifically to where people are sitting in the car, the first of its kind, which increases comfort and efficiency. Overall, the car looks alright externally, but the interior definitely competes with other luxury cars in its class. These are generally cheaper than other cars on this list, with the cheapest older examples listed for £14,000, but 30 grand will get you a 2017 model with under 50,000 miles on it. The key benefit for going for one of these is the reliability. Owners complain about the CVT gearboxes, but outside of that, these are about as reliable as it gets for luxury cars. Depreciation is hitting nicely on the Tesla Model S, which is available for around £27,000 with high mileage, or for 30 grand you're looking at anywhere between 60 to 80,000 miles. The electric motor is situated towards the rear of the car, putting out 367 brake horsepower, which takes from 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds. Compared with all other cars on this list in terms of actual features, it goes above and beyond. Autopilot so it can drive on its own, enhanced summon so you can get it to drive to you when it's parked up, sentry mode so it can detect suspicious activity while parked, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Owners have noted this all works at differing levels though. Its design was inspired by the Mercedes CLS, and the key feature on the interior is the massive iPad-esque screen, which draws attention ever so slightly away from the rest of it. I'm definitely harsh on Tesla interiors, but having been in them, I was quite disappointed by the design, build quality, and material choices for what is marketed as a luxury car. And my disappointment with build quality seems well founded. Many owners have noted a plethora of teething issues with this car over many years of ownership, and there are other noted problems like panel gaps and not even being fully painted correctly. I wasn't disappointed in performance, by the way. They do have a real kick to them, and I know this is an early car for the Tesla brand, but having recently had the chance to look around a Polestar, I'd probably go for that instead. Moving on to something much louder than the Tesla, it's the Porsche Panamera Turbo, taking third with its 4.8 litre twin turbocharged V8, putting out 493 brake horsepower, which gets it to 60 in just 4.1 seconds, making it the joint quickest car on this list. Though the newer Panameras are much nicer looking cars, you can't take away from the original, as it was highly important in shaping where Porsches are today, sort of like the Cayenne. Both cars deviated from the standard Porsche formula, annoying purists, but shooting the brand into a position where they can be pretty much every car in your driveway. And the interior on the Panamera more than makes up for its stretched 911 looks anyway, as it stays true to Porsche styling, offering some luxurious specs. I would say it's leagues ahead of many other cars from the same period in that department. My favourite spec is the yachting blue interior. It just absolutely bangs. £24,000 is the minimum you'll find these listed for, and for 30 grand you'll find a 2010 to 2011 example with under 60,000 miles on the clock, clock. However, it's the reliability that lets these down, as the turbo models were renowned for bore wear at around 80,000 miles if not maintained fully. The PDK boxes are also known to be a bit sketchy, so watch out for harsh gear changes. Just as quick as the Panamera is the Audi S8 with its 4-litre twin-turbocharged V8 putting out a massive 512 brake horsepower. It shares its engine with the Bentley Continental GT of the same year, so you're in good company with another luxury beast. You could actually go for an A8 or A8 long wheelbase and get a luxury experience, but I wanted to throw the S8 into the mix as it gives a bit of extra performance to that luxury. Where you might go for wood or aluminium in your average luxury car, this swaps it out for carbon fibre, a more aggressive 3-spoke wheel and more bolstered seats. However, it still retains a wafting energy about it, and of course the dashboard analog clock to confirm its luxury status. If you want to go more savage, for 50 grand you could opt for a used S8 Plus, which adds much more power and some more aggressive external carbon features, whereas the standard S8s are listed for a minimum of around £22,000, and for 30 grand you'll get a 2015 to 2016 example with under 50,000 miles on the clock. Generally these have proven themselves reliable, but a couple of owners have noted rare problems with air suspension and turbos. The more important issue is running costs, as not only fuel but tyres and brakes are used up relatively quickly. Taking the top spot on this list thanks to its exceptional power is the Bentley Continental Flying Spur, which pretty much had to turn up in this video. It has a 6-litre twin turbocharged W12 engine, putting out 552 brake horsepower, which takes from 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, which is pretty quick for what is basically a yacht on wheels. It shares its platform with the VW Phaeton, and Bentley offered multiple premium materials to those who bought it new, including 6 different natural wooden trims and handcrafted leather. There are some features beyond the other cars on this list, like the picnic table with built-in mirror, cooler pack and built-in umbrellas. It's no Rolls Royce, but it's still got enough unnecessary extras to cement it in the luxury field. Depreciation hit the Bentley hard, as you'll find these listed for a minimum of around £16,000, and 30 grand will get you a 2010 example with well under 50,000 miles on it. As has been shown by many YouTubers, if these have problems, they generally cost a lot of money to resolve. Engines are known for coil packs going and head gasket leaks, the continuous damping control can fail, the electrics often lead to expensive issues, and there are a whole bunch of other potential problems, so might be worth getting a warranty on one of these. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. Massive thank you to you guys for watching, as well as to the patrons for their continued support. Happy New Year to everyone who's watching this in January 2021, because this video should be out on the 1st, so massive Happy New Year. I hope 2021 is better than 2020. As always, a massive thank you to you guys for your support. Let's make 2021 a successful year, and I'll see you in the next one.